think of Christianity like the Matrix. So, in the movie The Matrix, right? The Matrix is a simulated world slash reality, and in that reality, the reality is made by like machines and artificial intelligence and all that. And so the movie is mainly about this computer programmer who's first known as Thomas Anderson, but who's later known as Neo. And in the movie, in the beginning, he's in his office and he's working, right? And he notices that there's something off, and he feels like there's something off with the world, and then also based on the repeated encounters with the Matrix, that there's something off, and that the Matrix is it's glitching or it's fluctuating, right? And so he ends up getting contacted by Trinity, which is a woman who's kind of outside the Matrix, not included in the Matrix, but that's revealed later on. So the woman tells Thomas Anderson, or later known as Neo, about a man named Morpheus who actually knows like everything about the Matrix and that can answer all of his questions. And so Morpheus actually ends up talking with Neo and trying to guide him out of the office because as soon as they start talking, there's agents and also in the form of police that start trying to come after him because the agents are know Morpheus as a terrorist because Morpheus knows the truth about the Matrix and what it is, and then the agents don't like that because they actually work for the Matrix, so they're trying to come after everybody who starts discovering it to keep it kind of low and to try to find out where Morpheus is to go after him. So that's kind of the beginning. So then unfortunately Neo doesn't make out in time, and that Matrix and that the people who work for the Matrix actually end up discovering or finding Neo and actually end up taking him and trying to interrogate him. And Neo it doesn't end up saying anything about Morpheus, and Morpheus ends up trying to rescue him and gets everybody off of him, and then Neo follows Morpheus to a room, and in the room they both talk, and Morpheus starts answering questions, and he talks about the history of the Matrix and why, and about like there was a war between the humans and the machines, and that like the machines won and aliens won, and that the Matrix is a result of that. And so that's like the main history behind it. And so then Morpheus offers Neo the choices between two pills, and the two pills are a blue pill and a red pill. And the red pill, like if Neo chooses to take the red pill, he'll awaken to the truth and the reality of the world around him and what's going on, and he'll be like outside the Matrix. But then if he takes the blue pill, he'll go back to his old life, he'll forget that all this ever happened, and he'll go back to living the same way he's always known. And so of course you guys who have seen the Matrix know that he takes the red pill, and he's awakened and he finds himself in this glass chamber and filled with liquid, and he sees that everybody around him is also in these glass chambers, and they're connected to some sort of high-tech sophisticated system to where that's again created by machines, the Matrix, and that they're all connected, and he ends up like getting out of the chamber, and he joins Morpheus on his ship because he sees the ship, and he's outside, and he sees the ship, and so he goes on the ship to join Morpheus and his team, and he gets introduced, he gets to know a little bit, and then he finds his position, and then they go on many great adventures trying to get many people free who are also enslaved and try to set them free. And they're great movies. If you've seen them, they're great movies. But anyway, Christianity is similar to this, like the main plot, right? The world is very corrupt and sinful. As Christians, we believe that Satan deceives us, and that in an attempt to draw us further and further away from God. Now, I don't know where you are in Christianity. Maybe you're new. Maybe you're just kind of learning about this whole Christianity thing. Maybe you're even well experienced in the faith. Wherever you are, I think this serves as a good analogy to, this might be a reminder, or this might be, the reality of what Christianity is supposed to be about. like the main mission of, you know, advancing God's kingdom and spreading the gospel of good news throughout the whole world. So um so first, like when you first discover Jesus, right, you have two choices. You can take the red pill of truth and having a new life, or the blue pill and going back to how you were before you were saved, before you even knew anything about Jesus and the truth, and how you've always lived. Now, personally, my hope, I'm making this video to try and try and show you kind of like one of the main goals of Christianity. And my hope is that you take the red pill, right, that you take the red pill of truth, and that you come to discover God and know him more intimately. But however, I can't force you to, because, you know, we all have free will, and we have the free will to freely choose, you know, how we choose to live, right? And but anyway, for those of you who end up taking the red pill, just know that as soon as you start to discover truth, and as soon as you start to align yourself with God, you're going to be attacked. Like, you're going to go through trials and tribulations. There's going to be tests, trials that God's going to put you through to help build up your character. And, you know, yeah, like, I know it might seem crazy, you know, especially if you're new, or maybe you have a false perception of Christianity, but this is kind of the reality, you know. And like, if you see, like, throughout this world, the truth is dangerous. Like, people who know the truth are dangerous, especially to those who try to spread lies and who try and confuse the people, you know, of this world, country, state, anything else. And so, although you might be sought after and try and, you know, be persecuted or any of that, I think it's worth it to wake up to the reality of what's really going on, instead of living a lie. And, you know, the battles that you'll have to face are worth it, because what's in store is God's kingdom, right? And so, you know, when you choose to take a pill, you know, the red pill, right, your eternal destiny is secured, right? The red pill, you know, your end salvation is God's kingdom, is this, you know, it's nice and bright, sunny, it's peaceful, and you won't have to worry about, you know, being attacked or violence again. That's, you know, God's kingdom is peace, it's loving, and all that. You know, the sun is even bright and sunny out, right? Or you can take the blue pill, and the blue pill is you'll stay in the darkness, you'll stay in the dark, you know, or maybe in the shade, right, where you'll be blinded by God's truth, or you know, from God's truth, sorry, and then, you know, you'll just keep going through life as you always have been. And so accepting Jesus into your life, like, you're made a target, and you're made a target by the enemy, because, you know, the enemy hates Jesus, and to the enemy, Jesus is like a terrorist. Jesus is the enemy. He's the enemy, and he's the one we should all hate. But he's not. He's the Savior. He's the truth, the way, and the life, right? And so, with all of that, just know that, you know, it, like, when you choose to accept Jesus into your life, you'll receive the Holy Spirit, and which is also God's Spirit. And and this is like how Neo initially woke up in this sophisticated system filled with water and, you know, or liquid, right? He stepped out of the ways of the world by stepping out of the chamber and decided to join Morpheus and team up on his ship. That's like, you know, in this case, like, I'm using Morpheus to kind of like reference, like, Jesus. Like, he was saved by Morpheus, he was saved by Jesus, and he entered the ship, he joined Jesus, and he joined, you know, all his followers and his disciples, you know, people who continually learn from Jesus. And, you know, when you awaken to the truth, you're set apart, right? You go on this ship, and when Neo went on the ship, you know, he went out of the world, he went out of the system, out of the ways of thinking, and he was set apart. And, you know, he traveled with Jesus, he you know, he went through many things with Jesus. He learned from him, and you know, all of that, right? Like for those of you who've seen the movie, right? And you know, and you know, as you travel with Jesus, your mind is being renewed from the lies of the world. Your mind is being renewed because of how what people have told you, what you've heard, and you know, again, the lies that you've been told. So like as you go through it, it's a purification process. Like you're being delivered from a lot of the different things. Sorry. And again, it's a transformation process. So your whole perspective changes, the way you see everything changes. And so again, if you're new, if you're just curious, like I would like to invite you to discover more about God and his kingdom, and how to be a true follower of Christ, and a lot of that. However, if you're not, you know, I hope that you know, you eventually change your mind. But again, the choice is yours. So will you take the red pill, or will you just take the blue pill and go back to what you once knew? See you guys later. God bless you.